And welcome back for what else? The jam session, Rich. The Olympics, it cut out our jam session for several weeks. Time to get back to work.
A lot of pin-up opinions tonight.
Of course, we brought in a couple of Indianapolis Star guys. The guy who continues to stick his hand in a light socket, Philip B. Wilson, is here. Way to go. Nice hairdo. If I could grow my hair out, I definitely would take that.
I got it gelled up. When I heard I was on with Chap, I had to bring my A game. You know, so.
Hey, don't get the gel on the furniture, man.
No,
brand new
it's
stuff.
nice stuff here.
And also welcome back Mike Chappell, of course, with the Indianapolis Star, who was just with us with an earlier segment. Guys, let's get down and dirty and talk about this. College football underway. Who has the best college football team in the state? Mike?
Ball State does.
Oh.
And that's an unbiased opinion from a Ball State grad way back in the day when Dave McClain and had great programs. But it's going to be fun to watch Ball State this year. They got a quarterback. They're going to put points on the board. Are they the best? No, but they might be the most fun to watch.
I think Ball State wins 10 wins.
Wow.
10 games, that might be the most in the state. Now, IU plays 8 home games. They don't leave Bloomington until October. You've got to be in a bowl game with that schedule. I mean, Philby, that's like an Ohio State schedule, but you're playing Murray State instead of USC. But I really think it might come down to the bucket game. I think whoever wins the bucket game will get to a bowl game, and the loser may not. Ball State wins 10. Notre Dame, they'll probably win 6, and if you're the Irish, somebody will take you with 6 wins.
That was a purposeful shot at the Buckeyes, wasn't it? You know I'm a Buckeye guy. You have to take a shot. Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten without Beanie Wells, with or without him, so that's how bad the Big Ten is. I'm just shocked that Chap did say the Cardinal quarterback. Who's the Cardinal quarterback, Chap?
Nate Davis.
Why didn't you mention him? We practiced this and practiced it. Who's the Ball State quarterback? Who is he? Nate Davis. I'm with him. I'm a Bowling Green grad. Hail to the MAC, and let's give it up to Nate Davis and the Cardinals. You know, I just don't think Purdue or maybe Indiana with that home schedule, but you know, let's give the small school, the mid-major. They still call them mid-majors, Henry? Give them props.
The NFL the rest of the way. The Colts have just 2 quarterbacks on their roster. They cut both Jared Lorenzen and Quinn Gray. So with the knee injuries to both Peyton Manning and Jim Sorgi, Philby, should the Colts have kept 3 quarterbacks?
No.
Why not?
I was going to let Chap say it. I thought Chap and I heard what we needed to hear from Tony. He seemed assured that Jim Sorgi would be okay. We had that expectation from Peyton, from his own mouth, and from Tony's mouth. I see 2 guys. I think we both rationalized that if Jared or Quinn were needed, they probably weren't going to get, picked up rather quickly based on their play. Sorry, guys, but Quinn Gray was awful, and Jared didn't do a whole lot better. So if they needed somebody to pinch, they'd go out and get somebody. I think they valued the roster spot.
Anyone disagree with that?
No, again, I think it's a case. They'll bring in a quarterback for the practice squad because you need a third arm just for practice. But again, if you get in Thursday or Friday and for whatever reason Sorgi and Manning are having a problem with their knee, you can go out and get Gray and Lorenzen again. I'm not sure they got them holed up at the Embassy Suites.
The Conrad.
But again, the Conrad, if there's room. But again, I just think it's a case. This is an indication that they're convinced that Sorgi and Manning are fine. They don't carry 3 quarterbacks. They haven't for any extensive time and since 2000, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So again, if you need a guy, you'll go out and get Lorenzen or Quinn Gray. But if you don't need it, there are more pressing needs at roster spots they need right now than the 3rd quarterback.
Okay, guys, time to put you guys to work. How about some predictions? AFC South, who's going to win the AFC South? How many teams from the AFC South is headed to the playoffs?
It's going to be yawning.
It used to be an easy 5 or 6 wins for the Colts in the AFC South. That's certainly not the case anymore. We saw 3 teams from this division make the playoffs last year. I think that could happen very well again this year. I think the Colts are going to win the division, but I think they do it with a 3-3 record. I think it's a very strong division, and I think, you get to the end of the year, and the Colts usually have that 1 or 2 games that doesn't mean much. Those last 2 games will be very significant at Jacksonville, at Tennessee, but I still think the Colts win the division and Jacksonville right on their heels.
Yeah, I think that if 3 teams make it this year, it's going to be Indy, Jacksonville, and Houston, and not Tennessee. I expect Tennessee to kind of fall back. Until Vince Young takes that step up, Tennessee's they're not going to continually be a team that can run the ball and play defense. The Colts, I think they're the team to beat until proven otherwise. And we've got a real nice feature on IndyStar.com, the Manning meter. And I always take the Manning beat when I look at the Colts. They're going to win 10 games just because of Peyton Manning. Now, if things go right, you win 12. If things really go right, you win 13. So this, to me, is still a 12-win team. That's enough to win the division, and then Jacksonville will be just a half a pace behind.
Philip.
Yeah, we're all in concert on this. I mean, until proven otherwise, it's the exact same words I was thinking about. I do the predictions for our special section going into the season, and I tried real hard to find a change, and I kept coming up to the usual suspects. Great movie, Kevin Spacey. You know, Kaiser Sose, the usual suspect. It's the Colts and then everybody else. And in the South especially, I know it's tough. Rich is right. It could be hard. I remember, was it 2 years ago, Chap? They lost all 3 road games.
Right.
That was kind of an eye-opening experience. But I think it's same old, same old. And I'm not saying Jacksonville couldn't be better. I'm not saying that Tennessee isn't improved or that Houston isn't better, although I just saw what Chris Brown got put on IR, so they've already taken some hits there. But I just think it's more of the same. No matter what the Colts' deficiencies, they always find a way to get it done in this division.
Okay, Chap got ahead of us a little bit here, but the Colts have won at least 12 games in each of the last 5 seasons. He talked about his predictions. Here they are from our panel of experts. Henry and Mike picking 12 wins for the Colts this season. Phil B and I are taking 11 wins. Henry, how did you justify your numbers?
Well, I think they're going to struggle in week 2 just because Peyton may be a little bit rusty, and that's against the Minnesota Vikings. And then later in the season, the game against the Patriots and the Chargers, I count those as 3 losses and possibly 2 losses in the division, but I still think they're going to get at least 11 or 12 wins.
I think not a bad start for the Colts, but a slower start. I mean, 21 straight wins in September and October. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to lose in September and October this year, actually.
I like the early stretch. I really do. The Minnesota game could be tough, although Minnesota's one-dimensional. You know who they have to stop: Peterson, Adrian. Adrian.
When you can't stop Michael Turner.
How can I spot?
Peterson
Well,
might be a
I know,
problem.
but there were guys banged up all across the field in the Colts defense in that playoff game. But what you look for the second year in a row, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chap, November, you've got the stretch: New England, San Diego, Pittsburgh, 3 games in 4 weeks. And as I said, somebody on my Bounce It Off Phil B blog, shameless plug. I think that determines where the Colts play in the playoffs, their seed.
Mike?
I just think, again, I think this is a team that knows how to win the big games. I think Minnesota would kind of like to have maybe Quinn Gray instead of Tavares Jackson as their quarterback. So if you haven't got a quarterback that can put points on the board, it's hard to beat this team. And, by the second week, Manning will be he'll be in his rhythm. So I just don't think it's going to be a problem. I think 12 wins is realistic. It should be expected, again, unless an injury hits somewhere, because this team, from top to bottom, it's as strong as it's ever been. And I'm sure I'm sounding like a big homer, but when you sit back and look at this team, it's a young team with a veteran presence, and I just don't see it stumbling too often.
That's why I said 11, because I figured I would have been a homer.
Because you're not a homer.
I've been a homer all the time. I figured,
We're way down on the team. We're really having for 11 wins.
They lost San Diego, and somebody got on the blog and accused me of not being a supporter of the Colts because I ripped them a little bit. Like, give me a break. I mean, Billy Volek. You want to get that out of your memory, don't you? Not Michael Turner. I mean, okay, but Billy Volek. I had to go to counseling to get that out of my system.
Well, predicting records, predicting who's going to the playoffs, that's the easy stuff. So we had to go one level further. And who's going to the Super Bowl? Here's what our panel of experts suggest. Chargers and Eagles. You're going to test my eyesight from way over here. Chargers and Saints.
Oh, Rich changed
Patriots
that,
and Cowboys and Patriots
Rich,
and Cowboys.
Rich changed it because the Saints are in town.
That's right. Drew Brees is watching the Jam right now.
Totally, he is. He's the comrade. It's like, hey, man, local guy picked this.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. That was totally went into my prediction.
I didn't know Champ and I picked the same thing. That's kind of cool. I'm not usually as smart.
Mine now,
I'm not usually as smart as that
I felt
guy.
good about
so
mine
this
until
is
that.
This is an honor and a privilege to have the same thing. That means it won't happen.
But nobody picked the Colts.
Well, I wanted to, but the last 2 years I picked them once to win and once to lose in the Super Bowl. Actually, 2 of the last 3 years, because the 1 year they did it, I didn't have them winning. So I thought 3 years out of 4, no, let's pick the Patriots. Plus the Patriots, as we all know, play the easiest schedule in the NFL.
True.
You're looking at home field in
I think
January.
Nate
Right.
Davis could jump in there for Tom Brady and his foot and lead the Patriots to the playoffs. I'm not sold on Nate Davis of Ball State.
Well, good to have you guys, as always, on the Jam session. We love this session, of course. Questions, comments, concerns, sports at WTHR.com. We'll be right back after the break.